Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa Alastuey, and on this channel, you will find a variety of inspirational and informational videos. So if that sounds good to you and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. My video this week is to share with you my hiking experience of the Grand Canyon from the North Rim to the South Rim. It is a distance of about 25.5 miles total, and I completed it in one day. I want to share with you some of the tips and strategies that I used to accomplish this goal, also why I chose to do this goal, and also to give you an overlay in a video photo montage of my hike to hopefully inspire you, or at the very minimum, to provide you a vicarious experience if you never get to do it. So why did I choose to do this hike? Well, I was born in Arizona, so my roots are in Arizona. Both my parents are from Arizona. And in fact, my father used to work at the Grand Canyon. He was a mule guide that would take the tourists down on the mules. And so I have photos of him that I'm going to share with you. He is the one down in front. And I've always, loved these photos, and I've always had it like a seed planted that I wanted to experience the Grand Canyon, not just from the top, looking down, but actually being immersed in it, because it is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is truly a magical place. And I feel so fortunate that I have been able to accomplish this goal and to share it with my dad. So that's my why. So that's something that I encourage you, if you set out for any big goal such as this, why are you doing it? So that when you are in it, you can refer back to your goal, and it will help keep you motivated to stay the course. So another thing that I did with this trip is that I joined a hiking group, because there are transportation and lodging logistics that you have to think about. And also you have to have a permit if you're going to spend the night down in the Grand Canyon. So that was never my goal. My goal was to finish in one day and come out the same day and not spending a night in the canyon. However, the hiking group that I was with, they have helped people accomplish this goal. One of their members was 81 years old. He's always wanted to hike the canyon, and he made it all the way to the final 3 miles. He said he couldn't go anymore. So the hiking guide actually spent the night with him in the canyon, and they finished the next day. So I highly recommend that you don't do this alone, that you have a friend, that you have support, or you have a hiking group that you do this with. There is no internet coverage in the canyon. You will get internet coverage, cell phone coverage, when you get to like the 3-mile mark heading out. But when you're in it, you do not have it. So make sure that people know you're going, make sure you have some type of system in place. Also, the logistics. So I stayed at the North Rim the first night, and the North Rim actually has a time change. So when you arrive there, I came in from Phoenix and I got to the North Rim, we had to set our clocks back an hour. So you have to kind of pay attention to that, that there is a time change. And so at the North Lodge, we spent the night, and keep in mind that you're still going to have to drive at least 45 minutes to get to the trailhead the next day. So we started the hike at 5:30 in the morning. I highly recommend this as a tip. You're going to want to start before sun up to give you more hours in the day. For the average hiker, they say it will take anywhere from like 12 to 16 hours. So finding out what that is for you will depend on many things, such as your fitness level. It will also depend on how often you stop and smell the flowers. That was one of the things that I did. I took lots of video, lots of photos. I really tried to enjoy the moment, so I didn't rush through it. However, I did notice there are some extremely fit people in the canyon that are doing it kind of in a race type of way. And some even do it rim to rim to rim. So they go back and forth, and some of them go through the night. As I was dropping down into the canyon at the beginning of my hike, I saw these super fit people coming up. They were obviously hiking through the night, and it was really inspiring to see them. So again, back to the transportation logistics. From the north rim to the south rim, it's about 4-hour drive. So you need to have something planned. Since I was with the hiking group, my transportation logistics were taken care of. So when I got to the south rim, my lodging was there, and then we left and went back to Phoenix. So keep that in mind. You just can't show up and do this. You got to take care of those type of logistics. All right, second point, you got to train. You have to train for this event. First, make sure that you have cleared it with your doctor. You don't want to do this if you have any underlying health conditions. It can be extremely dangerous, which I'll get to in a minute. So it's very important that for your own safety, that you have cleared it with your doctor and that you've done the proper training. So I try to always maintain a level of fitness. Obviously for this one requires more cardio, more time on your feet. So you're going to have to put some distance on your legs and really commit to some miles to do this hike. I also recommend that you do some strength training so that you keep your quadriceps, your calves strong, as well as your back and your core, because you're going to be carrying a backpack. One precaution: if you have bad knees, you will be in a shock going down the canyon. I don't have bad knees, and I still felt it in my knees on the decline. So this course is a reverse mountain. You go down, you go across, and then you go up. So on the down, boy, did I feel it in my knees. And so if you have bad knees, you want to maybe think twice about this. Okay, next, let's talk about gear. The most important gear that you're going to have for this are your shoes. I cannot stress this enough. You need to have a good pair of tennis shoes, hiking shoes. Some people prefer not the hiking boot because it's added weight. They want more of a lightweight because it's many steps, many miles. A lighter shoe will help you much better than a heavier boot. But again, it's personal preference, whatever works for you. The key thing is that you really, really break in your shoes. This was one of my amateur mistakes. I will admit I did not break in my shoes for this trip very well, and I ended up with a lot of blisters. And so that wasn't fun. I walked the majority of this hike on blisters, but what can you do? I had the glide that you can put on, but I didn't find that it helped me. I didn't find that it did anything. But when I got to Phantom Ranch, they had a little storefront, and I was able to buy some moleskin, and I put those on. I'm not sure if it really helped either. It's just kind of like a Band-Aid. But it's one of those things that you're in it, you're just going to feel it, and you're going to have to just continue. But yeah, that was one of the things. I know other people have been able to do the hike with no blisters. So that is the ultimate goal, obviously. So shoes, very important, broken in, and that they are good for you. Some brands that you might want to look at are like Oboz, Ultra, especially if you have like wide feet. They have this one brand of Ultras that are really comfortable, really popular. I did see some people in regular tennis shoes. So again, personal preference, you got to find what works for you. All right, the second gear that I would totally recommend is trekking poles. You're going to need to get yourself a nice set of trekking poles. I have never used them in my life. This is my first trip, first time using them. I'll be honest, I did not practice much with them. I'm like, okay, how can this be that difficult? But you need to probably spend a little time just to kind of get the rhythm, get acquainted. I did have calluses on my hands at the end of it because I never practiced with them. So I got obviously calluses from them. But I did use them. I do recommend them, especially if you don't want to stumble, trip, fall, and just have that extra little push or weight going up the mountain. It gives you a little leverage to kind of pull yourself up. All right, next important gear, your backpack. Obviously, find you a backpack that has a waist belt. You're going to want a waist belt because it'll redistribute the weight of the backpack so that it's not all on your back and that you can put some on your hips. Very important. So get a quality backpack. I highly recommend. Let's talk food and water. So recommended as far as water, take at least 2 to 3 liters. There's only so many bathroom and water stops along the way, and you always want to make sure that you have enough water in between those stops. So 2 to 3 liters. I took 2 bottles of water. And that added 5 pounds to my backpack right there. So thinking about weight and training, I think my backpack was anywhere around, I think around 13 or 14 pounds. So even when you're training, slap the backpack on and get used to that weight. And again, use the waist belt because it does work. I don't recommend the camel, with the straw and the tube for a couple reasons. Those bladders can break, bust, and then what are you going to do? Another thing, you have the straw coming out and dirt can get on it and it can get really dirty and you don't want to drink dirty water. So I recommend the bottles. That would be my first choice. Now, food, I do have a food diary you're going to see coming up. I did not eat everything that I packed. Again, I recommend that you take more than you need just in case. You really want to focus on having electrolyte tabs, salt tabs, as well as protein, some type of protein. I'm not a big fan of like the Cliff Bars and the goo. Even though I packed them, I don't like the taste of them. I actually packed peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because they're substantial, they keep, and it felt more like a meal that I could have. So that's what I would recommend. Hydration is important throughout. You want to make sure that you drink plenty of water. But there is another thing that you also have to be aware of, and that is hyponatremia. Hyponatremia is when you have excess water and your sodium levels are off and diluted. And that's why people take salt tablets when they're doing this. So you want to make sure that you don't drink too much water, but you also want to make sure that you stay hydrated and safe. So proper nutrition, enough calories, make sure you eat. There was some points in the hike where I was not hungry. I did not want to eat, but I made myself eat because I wanted the calories and the nutrients. So keep that in mind. Other things to take, obviously a first aid kit, you never know. Take some Tylenol in case, or some type of Advil, depending what works for you. Sunscreen. The sun is definitely going to be an issue. I went in the 3rd week of May, and the weather was still very nice. It actually, at the start of the North Rim, it was 36 degrees. And by the time I got down to the 4-mile marker, the sun was out and it was hot. And so this takes me into my next point, which is clothing. I'm from Houston, Texas. I am not used to the cold. So 36 degrees is really cold to me. I had layer on layer and leggings, and I saw other people starting off in shorts, and I was like, oh, it's too cold for that. But in fact, that actually is a good tip and a good strategy, because by 4 miles down, I was hot. And I changed into my shorts at a rest stop, and I never went back to the leggings. So I would just kind of dress more for the warm weather and just get your body moving, and you will heat up, and then you won't have to carry all those layers in your backpack later. So that was something that I learned from doing this. Let's see here. Another key tip is that there's no internet service down in the canyon. You will get internet service at the 3-mile marker. So keep that in mind as far as planning. I called my mom and, was able to FaceTime her. It was really cool, really special. So make sure if you have somebody you're going to call to give them an idea of when you think you'll get there. Bathroom breaks. So with the canyon, there's no trash cans. Whatever you pack in, you need to carry out and respect the park. So when you come to the bathroom stops and the water stops, there is no trash can for you. You got to take your banana peel, you got to take your everything. Now, there is one stretch of the trail where there is no bathroom stop and there is no restroom stop for 7 miles. And you got to plan for that. And so if you have to go to the bathroom, take some toilet paper, take a plastic bag, take care of your business, and don't leave any trace behind. Another key point is to obviously be respectful, keep the park peaceful, quiet. Just be mindful of the other hikers and their experiences, and of the noise pollution in the park. Mules. Unfortunately, I never got to see the mules. And so that would have been really cool had I seen it, given my dad's background. But if you do get to see the mules, keep in mind they have right of way. So step aside, let them go, and enjoy the view, enjoy the show. All right, so I'm going to go over the map of the different stops next. Again, I started at 5:30 in the morning and I finished after dark. So mine was an all day deal. So I'm going to take you through the stops next so that you can get a layout of the trail. And then you're going to see a video slash photo montage of what I took during that time. Okay, so here is a map of the North Rim. As mentioned earlier, I spent the night right here at the North Rim Lodge. This is also where the visitor center is. And you'll see here on the map that you can't just go from there to the trailhead. You're going to have to drive about 45 minutes or so to come up here to the North Kaibab Trail entrance. It was busy. There's lots of people, so plan on that, especially if you're going to go to the bathroom. There will be long lines. There will be people going down for just a couple miles that day, some going, all the way rim to rim, some that have been traveling through the night and are coming up. So it is definitely busy on the North Kaibab Trail. As you go down, you'll see the different stops, and it's marked. Here's the bathroom stop. Again, they don't have trash cans. You need to pack in, pack out. Make sure you got your water with you filled at every stop so that you can take it to the next one. There's a bridge here, and that's something that's really key too. There was lots of bridges throughout. I think it's anywhere between maybe six bridges that I passed. So that was really cool. You come down here, you'll see Roaring Springs, another cool little stop, photo op. And then your next rest area is Manzanita. And this one is 5 miles down, just to give you a frame of reference. You're 5 miles down. And again, like I mentioned about the knees, if you have bad knees, you will feel every step coming down. There are a lot of switchbacks in here. So we're dropping in elevation quite a bit, but it is beyond beautiful. It is breathtaking, as you'll see in the future video photos that I have. After Manzanita, plan to go about 1.5 miles to the next rest stop, which is Cottonwood. Okay, so once you reach Cottonwood, you definitely need to fill up your water and make sure that you have at least 2 to 3 liters when you leave Cottonwood. This stretch right here from Cottonwood all the way to Phantom Ranch is 7 miles. And you'll notice there is no rest stop, there is no bathroom area. So you need to plan for that. It is also a very beautiful 7 miles. A lot of this is more flat. There's just slight incline, slight decline through here, which is nice, better for the knees, obviously. But that is about, again, 7 miles from Cottonwood to Phantom Ranch. Okay, as you're coming down that 7 miles from Cottonwood to Phantom Ranch, you're going to run into an area they call the Box. The Box is considered probably the hottest area in the hike. So you definitely want to maybe try to time that where you're not hitting it at the hottest peak of the day. The Box is very windy as well, as you can see in the terrain on the map, but that's what the Box is. It's right before Phantom Ranch. And then when you hit Phantom Ranch, this is a great little rest stop area. There is like a concession stand where you can buy the best lemonade. And they do have a trash can, but the trash can is only for the items that you buy from the store. So I could throw my lemonade cup in that trash can, but anything that I packed in, I pack out. Another cool thing that I highly recommend when you get to Phantom Ranch is to buy a postcard. I bought several postcards and stamps, and they have a little area with pins and an area to drop off the postcard. And on the postcard, it actually says delivered from the Grand Canyon via the mule. And so I sent one to family and friends so that they could have it. And that was a really cool moment. I also ate, and by the time I got to Phantom Ranch, I really wasn't hungry. It was very hot, and I did not eat too much of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I had brought, the second one that I brought. But it's still very important that you make sure that you hydrate and you fuel to give yourself, because the hard work is still to come. It is very hard on your knees going down, but you're going to have more cardio, more work with the heart going up. So I probably hung out in Phantom Ranch, I think around 30 minutes or so. They sell like little food items. They sell bag of ice. I saw some people putting the bag of ice on their neck and walking off that way. So a good little moment to kind of stop and recharge before you head on. So after Phantom Ranch, you're going to come to a fork, and you have to make sure you know what trail you're on. There's 2 trails coming up the South Rim. You could continue on the South Kaibab, and you're going to be going over this bridge here and taking you up, but that's not the one that I did. I took the one that took me over the Silver Bridge, as you'll see in the videos. And the Silver Bridge, once you cross it, you're going to hike along the Colorado River, which was scenic and just beautiful. And then you're going to start to slowly make your incline to the top, going up the Bright Angel Trail. So again, when you get to this fork, decide, are you going up the Bright Angel or are you going up the South Kaibab? Okay, so once you're on the Bright Angel Trail coming up, you're going to be steadily going up on an incline, having magnificent views of the canyon and the Colorado River. But the next rest area to keep in mind is right here. This is Indian Garden. When you get to Indian Garden, take note that you still have 4.5 miles to go. That is windy and also elevation gaining. I actually talked to a park ranger when I was there, and he said on average, give about 4 more hours to get to the top when you get to Indian Garden. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. I guess he's kind of, an hour a mile, more or less. So after you leave Indian Garden, you keep going up, and then you hit the 3-mile rest house. This is where there is actually an emergency phone. This is where you can have cell phone coverage. You can FaceTime family and friends and give them a beautiful view, give them an update. But even at the 3-mile marker, you have a couple more hours to go. So keep that in mind. When I got to the 3-mile marker, it was around 7:30 p.m. and I knew it was going to get dark like in the next 30 minutes. So I had a headlamp. That's another important gear that you need to have. So probably around the 2.5-mile marker, I had to use a headlamp, and I basically walked in the dark coming up. There are other people on the trail. There was people in front of me, people behind me, kind of spaced out. But that's something also as you're planning. You may not need the headlamp at the beginning of your hike, but you might need it at the end. After you leave the 3-mile marker, the next big rest stop is a 1.5-mile rest house, which you'll see in the video I took a picture of in the dark. And then after the 1.5-mile rest house, you can make it all the way up to the top, popping out of the South Rim and celebrating your accomplishment. So that's just an overview of the maps.
Everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication.
Just made the bathroom break, a mile and a half up. Amazing. Amazing. Holy cow. Look at that.
I love the chase and the hunt. I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Stepping up, don't be scared. Crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Stepping up, don't be scared. Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity.
Had another bit of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There's about a fourth of it left, and I ate one orange energy chew, took some water, and I also took my winter layers off. So now I'm just in this sun shirt. It's very hot. The sun is up above us, and now it's coming down, and I am going to be taking off. Hopefully you can hear the water. It's right down here. to the cottonwood break, and I changed into some shorts because it's getting really hot. And I had a handful of chips and some more electrolyte water, and I'm about to head to Phantom Ranch, and that is about 7 miles from here. Talk to you later. Okay, I heard that River Falls Bridge was closed, so unfortunately I'm not going to be making it to there. I just came from Cottonwood, and I'm headed to Phantom, and it looks like we're going to be going up for a little bit. See where we've been. There was some flats and straightaways, which was nice. But it's time to get back to work. Found some more water, and I wetted the buff and the top of my head, and I also got my cap a little bit wet. But here I'll give you kind of a view of the water. There it is. Made it to Phantom Ranch, and now I'm gonna have a lemonade. See that right up there, guys? Right there. That's where I'll be at the end of the day.
it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I take the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Past the 3-mile marker, I had some water with electrolytes and 2 or 3 bites of the Cliff Bar. Not hungry, really tired, lots of blisters on my feet. I have 3 more miles to go, more elevation gain. So it's going to be a couple more hours. It's going to get dark, but I have my headlamp, but I will get there.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I highly recommend it for anybody that has that seed planted. I say go ahead and make the plans, make the action, and commit to it and do it. It is that amazing. I can't even compare it to anything else that I've ever done. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you have a comment or a question, please leave that down below, or even a good tip for those who are looking to hike the Grand Canyon rim to rim. Put that down below as well. I would love to hear your tips as included to what I mentioned. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to be alerted to when the next video drops. Thanks for watching.